Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games, back with another cool pinball repair video for you. If you have been watching our series on this Jubilee pinball machine, then you know we've come a long way, baby. We've worked on every little freaking part of this game. And we are finally down to where it's starting a game, but we need to work through the schematics and figure out what the issues are with it and get it where it plays well and button this sucker up. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. Now, if you didn't see our other videos, this is a really interesting game. Whenever we got it, someone had cut the head off of it and cut all the wires, and then somebody had spliced them all back together. We re-spliced them all back together a little better, and then ultimately figured out in the last video that we did that one of the wires was connected to the wrong wire and all this, but we've tracked that down. There may still be wires going to the wrong place. We also repainted part of the playfield and got it already. We repainted a bunch of the back glass, did a video of that. Go check it out. We've done all kinds of stuff on this thing. So there's a whole series of videos on this so far. There was also a Jubilee that we did about a year ago. We did a whole bunch of videos on it too, so you might want to go back and watch it. Another thing I want to say right at the beginning of the video, because a lot of people haven't figured this out, and it's very helpful to you if you're trying to fix a game. This is a 1973 Williams. If you've got a Williams from anywhere near there, it's about the same as this. It may look different, it's got a different name, but the machines, they tend to make them for several years that operate very similar. So if we're going to go through some schematics and stuff here in a little bit, and it may help you on your machine if it's anything like this. So we're just going to play it a little bit and see what's going on, and we're going to make a list of all of the things that aren't working. And then we're going to try to go through and fix all of them. So just a couple things that I'm aware of. There was the number 3 light, ball and play light number 3 wasn't working earlier. Also, I have never seen these alternate over to here. So that's probably a problem. But we'll mess with it a little bit and see what we can figure out. So the first thing I'm going to do, just press the start button, start the game. We've set this one on free play. Okay, so it reset all of the score reels. On one of the previous videos, we already worked on that, and we're aware that they do reset. So it only resets score 1, but I've messed with that several times so far. They are all resetting properly, and it did kick the ball out. It says 1 to 4 can play, and the 1 is lit up because I hit start one time. Ball and play number 1, and then, interestingly enough, it did switch over the lights that I was just talking about, so I guess that part's working. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to start more than a 1-player game. 2, 3, 4 light did not light up, and I can't start a 5th game, which is how it's supposed to be. So the 4 can play light is not working. 4 can play light. You have to excuse my chicken scratch, people. Ball 3 light. If you don't know about that, if you're left-handed, it's hard to use a pad like this because you can't hold the thing still as you write, right? If it was a wider, I probably should write on it that way. 4 can play light. See, that's much more legible, right? Like, that's much more legible than that. Okay, so we got 1 light bulb that's not working right, and I know that the 3 ball and play one doesn't work right. It did shoot the ball out, but we're going to do it with our hand just to so make sure we can test everything. So we'll try this first. 10 points. Oh, by the way, I don't have the chimes in it yet either. Okay, that's interesting. So when we switch over, watch this. All the lights blink when it rolls over to 100. That's interesting. Okay, so that is scoring 10 though. This one's scoring 50. They don't like that. So I held it down on purpose just to see. There's a short there somewhere, making all the lights trip. Okay. When it rolls to 100, the lights trip. Man, you must be tripping. Like that's that kind of trip. Okay, so this is scoring, that's scoring, that's scoring. If you don't know, on most games, if you've got similar features like that and that both score 50 points, they're just wired together. So if one works, the other one's probably going to work unless there's a physical problem with the switch. Got another one down here. Also does 50. Be interesting to see what happens when it rolls to 1,000. Okay. The interesting thing about this game is there's not that much to hit, actually. Extra advance when lit. That's giving me 100 points, and every time I get it, the lights are dimming. But it's all the lights. Okay. And it's moving the advance up. Okay. This one says extra advance when lit. I'm trying to figure something out here. It's doing 4 each time. I was under the impression it says extra advance when lit. That may change depending on if it's 3-ball or 5-ball. Let me write that down. The extra advance when lit. I don't know if it's working properly. Extra advance when lit. Okay, but it is giving me points, and it's giving extra advances, and that one gives me points. So that's actually working. There's also this swing gate with arrows that's also supposed to advance it, and it does. Okay, this should also advance it. It does. The reason it's not actually advancing anymore is because we've maxed it out, but it's doing it. Okay. So the way this thing in the middle works is looping ball scores advance. So if you hit, this is like a Newton. Is that called a Newton's ball, where you hit it and one on the other end moves? Is that right? Newton? I haven't played with one of those in a long time. But you hit the ball and it makes the one on the end pop over to the other side, right? And so as it goes through, it hits this switch. Looping ball scores advance, and it makes it advance, right? It can tell how many balls are on each side by the way the switches, whether or not they have balls on them. So I can see I'm going to get in trouble on this video. That's about the 10th time I've said something that all of the less mature of us are going to have an issue with. Okay, so when you get all 5 of them on one side, the lit side, you win the special, right? And I figured out before that the game screws you. It lights up the side that there's the least number of balls on, and it can figure it out too. Can you believe that? It's amazing. I don't really want to mess with that part yet, but let's see here. 300 when lit, or 30 points when not lit. So we're at 6,200. 6,230. So we're at 6,230. 6,530. It seems to be scoring very well. Collect double bonus when lit. Okay, when you lose the ball. Looping ball scores advance. I don't know if we have a way to test that right now. Okay, so I'm just going to lose the ball, see if it sends us to player 2, ball 1, and see if it gives us double our bonus. So I have 20,000. I should get 40,000 points. We're at 6,530. That didn't work. Or did it? Yeah, it did. We were at 6530, now we're at 46,530. Worked perfect. I shouldn't have said that about it. It worked perfect. Okay, second player's up. All we really need to do, if you have a scoring that's working, usually for all 4 players it'll work, but you need to check your score reels. So you need to see if, for instance, 10 points works. It does. And we're still getting the dimming thing. Okay. Our bonus hasn't lit up yet, so we'll go through the advance. It's doing a bunch of them because I'm hitting it with my hand. So we want to see if this rolls over right. 8. Yeah, there's an issue there. Basically, that switch is dirty, so I need to mess with that. That one's a little better. Okay, it's all rolling through fine. So yeah, scoring is working pretty good. Same thing, double when lit. So we should get 40,000. So we should end up at 44. Perfect. Down to the third player. It rolls over to 100, no problem. All that's fine. Now, the way these lights are dimming, it's probably because there's some kind of short going on. It may blow the fuse here in a minute, but I'm a pro, people. Don't worry about it. If it blows the fuse, I'll fix it. All right, so that's the third one. We have 16,000 on our bonus. It should be double when lit, so it should be 32. We should end up with 34,000. Working perfect. All right, we are over to the fourth player. That is weird. We're going to look at the schematics. I don't know if it's when the... Yeah, it's anytime the 100 relay pulls in, it's doing it. Okay, we have 17,000. Double when lit. We should get 34. We got 2,000 there. We should have 36. Working perfect. Okay, so now ball in play number 2, but it's on the second player, so that ain't right. Ball 2 skipped the first player. Okay, so let's see if it's actually scoring on the second player. It is. Okay, so somehow it skipped the first player. Let's test this looping ball thing. So we're on 0, the bonus. We're going to try to get one of the balls to loop around to the other side. Right? 2, 3, 4. Now when I loop it back around, it's going to give me the special, which is probably a free game. Free ball. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, you get all 5 of them to the same side. Gives you the same player shoots again. Notice it turned off the lights. So when I lose the ball, it is going to give me double the bonus, which will be 10,000 points. It also says same player shoots again on the back box under alley there. 44,520, so I should get 10,000 points, so it should be 54,520. It should let me shoot again, so we should stay on ball 2. And then the lights, you'll see, will no longer be here, they'll be over here. So it should be 54,520. Yes, still on ball 2. Oh, that's interesting. Look, it didn't give us the option to get another one. It may, though. I'll bet those lights come on after this light goes off. The reason that light's still on is because we haven't scored anything yet. So whenever we go up and we score 10 points, or maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, so that's probably not right. We may permanently have a free game. I believe so. Alright, yeah, so we permanently have a free game, so, and something is locking on or something, so. Alright, so I think that's enough. So now we kind of know what's going on. The special is working, but you permanently have a free game. Permanently. I mean a free ball. Free ball. Okay, so I think that's enough that we can work on there, and then whenever it's done, I'll test a couple other little things. But we actually tested everything on the playfield. So that should be enough to get us started. We'll look at the schematics. Okay, so here are the schematics. Now, if you saw our previous video, we had an issue where the game would not start, kept going into game over, and we figured out it was because of 2 of the cut wires that had been soldered back together, or crimped back together, by the previous owner. He put the wrong ones together because they reused the same color wires. They reuse the same color wires sometimes on these machines. So some of these wires are on here 5 or 6 times. Okay. So here's where we need to use a little deductive logic. So we already know that that's a thing because we just fixed one in the previous video. Sometimes the wires are swapped since the guy cut all the wires and then soldered them back together, or crimped them back together. I soldered them back together, but I just put back together exactly the way he had it, right? So let's figure out. I think the most important thing so far is whenever it scores 100 points, all the lights dim and go crazy. So something's shorting out there, right? So I want to figure that out first before we keep messing with it. So when it rolls to 100, the lights trip, and then I also saw when I hit 100, the lights trip. So what happens whenever you score 100 points? Well, the 100-point relay pulls in. Now, when you're scoring 10 points, when you're on 90, there is a switch on the drum unit, right, that sends a pulse to the 100-point relay through the 9th position switches on the 10-point drum units. Now, all of this stuff is in the head, so this doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about with the wires being crossed, because the wires came from the bottom cabinet mechanism panel up to the insert panel, which is in the back box. But I'm just showing the reason it did it whenever we rolled from 90 to 100. You may think, well, doesn't the 10-point relay actually, you scored 10 points, so how would the 10-point relay make it do it? It's because the 10-point relay, whenever you're on 90, or every time that it pulls in, it makes this little switch here, 1A, which pulses the 100-point relay, but only through the 9th position switches on the 10-point drum units. So if the drum units are not on the 9th position, not at 90, it still sends the power over to the drum unit, but it doesn't go through the switch because the switch isn't closed. But every time the 10-point relay pulls in, it's sending power over to the 100-point relay. Well, whenever you're in the 9th position, it sends the power through and turns on the 100-point relay, right? When it does, the 100-point relay pulls in. So when you go from 90 to 100, the 100-point relay pulls in, and whenever you score 100, the 100-point relay pulls in. So every time that happened in either situation, the lights dimmed. So what does the 100-point relay do? So all of these switches close, right? And mainly, there's a hold circuit and everything. Mainly what it does is it pulses the 100-point drum units through the player unit disc. The reason it goes through the player unit disc instead of just going straight to the drum units is because the player unit disc changes which player gets the score, right? And it pulses the small chime coil that I don't have in there, right? So it should be sending a pulse out to make the chime sound. Now the 10-point relay does not have a chime. Wait, I must have that wrong. Yeah. Energizes medium chime coil and numbers match unit step-up coil. So it does. The 1,000-point relay pulses the large chime coil. So the 100-point relay pulses the small chime coil by connecting the yellow wire to the orange and red wire. So that's the manual. I'll go over here to the schematics. Small chime coil. So every time the relay comes in, we're having an issue. One of the things it's trying to do is pulse the coil, the chime, right? So the chime is in the bottom of the cabinet. Okay. The 100-point relay is in the top of the cabinet. So there's a wire from this relay that goes into the bottom of the cabinet that is orange and red, and there are 5 wires like that. At least. This 5 doesn't even mean there's 5. It means this is the 5th one. There might be 10. I don't know. But there's an orange and red wire coming from the relay down to the chime. So when this relay pulls in, it's going bzzz, and it's sending power down this line, right? Or it's actually a ground, but you get the point. You get the point, okay? Now, just for giggles, on a whim, I said, you know, it was really interesting that all the lights are dimming and my 4th player light wasn't working. The fork and play wire is orange and red. So they've got the freaking wires backwards. That's what's going on. And I probably burnt that bulb up. So I'll bet that wire is connected backwards. That one's connected. See, this bulb is in the back box, but the coin unit is in the bottom of the cabinet. So there's an orange and red wire coming from the bottom up to the bulb. There's also an orange and red wire coming from the bottom chime up to the 100-point relay. But we've got this one going to the relay and the chime one going to the light. Right? So this is causing us some issues. So I'm going to use a multimeter and try to track it down and make sure that's what's going on, and then I'll swap those 2 wires if I figure out that is true. Well, I confirmed it. They are reversed. They look identical, so I don't blame them. I can't find anything different about the 2, but the 2 orange and red wires are reversed. Alright, so I'm going to reverse those. That should fix the dimming of the lights issue, and it should fix the thing where the 4th player light can't light up. Okay, folks, I switched the wires, plugged them back in. Now we're going to try it again. Okay, our lights are still coming on. Remember, we were in ball 2 when we ended the game. All this can even potentially fix, I think, is the 4th player light and the thing where the lights were dimming on 100. So let's see if the game will reset. It did reset. Now that bulb may be burnt out depending on what kind of strange power was getting sent to it. Aha! Well, damn, we fixed that. Let's mark it off while we're thinking about it. While we're thinking about it, fork and play light completely fixed it. So let's see if the hundreds makes the lights trip still. Ain't that wonderful? fix that, folks. Now we don't know though if we fix the we don't know if the chime works because we don't have it in yet, but that'll come later. Okay, so let's see what's next on our list. What should we mess with next? When it rolls to 100, the light strip. Fix that one. The extra advancement lit, we just thought might be an issue. Ball 2, skip the first player. Okay. And you permanently have a free ball. Let's see if we can get that to do that again. So we're on the first player. If you get all of them on this side, same player shoots again. Okay. Bam! Same player shoots again, okay? Kick the ball out. Still on ball number 1. Alright, so the same player always shoots again. Let's see if we can figure that one out. Okay, so here is the section that deals with the extra ball relay and the captive ball setup. It's a very interesting way that they did it. So when the game comes on and the ball is in the out-hole relay, or at the end of each ball, the ball is in the out-hole, so when the out-hole relay comes in, turns on, it pushes power through it. Through a switch on the cam on the motor, one of the cams. And then look at this. Depending if a ball is on the left captive ball switch or the right captive ball switch, it either makes the captive ball relay latch or the captive ball relay trip. So it's got the captive ball relay in there, and it either goes this way or that way, depending on which side has 3 balls on it. There's a switch 3 balls up. There's 5 balls. So the third switch has to either, so if this side has more, there's either 3, 4, or 5 balls on this side. If this side has more, there's either 3, 4, or 5 balls on this side. So if you put a switch where the third ball is, you can tell when the game comes on which side has more balls on it. And they make it where the other side lights up to get the special. Brilliant! So easily done with just a couple little switches, right? So that's what's going on there. So how do you win the extra ball like we did? There's the extra ball relay. Here is the captive ball relay. See how it switches to the left or the right? Depending on which one of these is tripped. So the captive ball relay is either actuating this line or this line, right? So if it's actuating this left line, we'll just go with it. There is a normally closed switch on the right captive ball switch. So that's the very first one. It's normally closed. That means if no ball is on it, it's closed. But if the ball is sitting on it, if there is 1 ball or more left on that side, it's sitting on that switch and the switch is open. So the schematics, you know, unless you have dealt with them a little bit, that part gets confusing. So that switch is open if a ball is sitting on it. And then, so that's the right captive ball switch. And then the left captive ball switch, not the actual same one, but one farther up the play field, is open. Right? And then the left captive ball switch is the one at the top of the left alley. Okay? So if all of those meet the criteria, and this captive ball relay, the light is lit up on this side, so the line is switched over, bam, you win an extra ball, right? So let's do it again, and I'm going to show you on the playfield. So the right captive ball switch is the first switch on the right. If a ball is sitting on it, it is open. So the only way for it to close is if no ball is on it. At the same time, you have to have a ball on the left captive ball switch and a ball on the other left captive ball switch to hold those down. So when the ball comes off this one, it will connect all 3 of them. Bam, bam, bam. Right? If it's lit up on that side. If not, it just does it this other side, which is a mirror of it. So let me show you those on the playfield so you'll understand it better. Okay, so I just knocked off 5 of them on one side just so that you can understand it, see it better. But that side has the same exact switches. So this first switch is normally closed. So this one on the right is closed right now. But if a ball is on it, it's open. And a ball is always on it if there's one ball left in the thing. Now sometimes you hit it and it bounces up off of it or whatever, right? So now they're both open. Or both closed. This one's closed and this one's closed. Okay. So this third one, see the one at the position of the third ball? That one is the one that it tells at the beginning of each ball which side has more balls. One side will have 3 and one side will have 2, or one side will have 4 and one side has 1, or one side will have 5 and one side has 1, or none. But no matter what, there will be a ball sitting on one of these two switches, and only one of them. So the only possible way is that there could be a ball on the side with more balls on it, right? So it's this third position one. So that's how it tells. That's all that one does. Okay? So these down here are normally closed, but if a ball is on them, they're open. Okay? And then this one here, the fourth position one, if a ball's sitting on it, it closes the switch. And then finally, you have this one at the very top. So here's what happens. Let's imagine one's still over here, right? So if one's over here, I am stacked 1, 2, 3, 4 high on that side. So that switch is closed, right? And yeah, that's the only one that matters. So that switch is closed, and this switch is open because the ball's sitting on it. Also, this switch is open. So you hit the ball, it comes off of here and closes that switch. So now that switch is closed, and that switch is closed. So that's 2 of the 3 we were looking at. And then the ball rolls over that one, and when it rolls over it and closes it, bam, you win a free ball. So that's what we've been doing, right? Brilliant way of doing it, really. But the thing don't turn off, so let's figure out why it don't turn off. Okay, so this extra ball relay is tripped by the switches we were talking about. Now, why is it staying on? Now remember, we knocked the balls back over to the other side and everything, and it never turned off. Well, it wouldn't do that anyway, because remember that one switch is at the top of the alley. So once the ball falls past it, it comes down to here, and nothing's hitting that switch anymore. So it's not getting its power from here to hold itself on. The way it holds itself on is it gets power through itself. See, there's a switch on the extra ball relay that closes when the extra ball relay pulls in, and that continues power to itself from one of these 2 circuits, right? So one way is through a normally closed switch on the 10-point relay. So the only way that switch opens is if you make 10 points. If you score 10 points, that would open, and it would kill the power going through its own switch to itself. So that's what I was saying. Well, maybe I didn't score, and so it didn't give me an extra ball, or it didn't take away the extra ball. As soon as you score, it will take away the extra ball, either 10 points or 100 points or 1,000 points. If any of those 3 relays fires, it will open up that switch and kill the power through itself to the extra ball relay. Now, that's not happening, so it must not be that switch, because we're scoring points and it's not changing nothing. What is up with the focus on this thing? It is not changing nothing. So it must be coming from this one, right? So it can also get power if this switch on the ball index relay is closed. So the ball index relay, we must have a problem with that switch. That's what I think. That's my guess. So we're going to go check it out and see. It'll be yellow on one side and gray and yellow on the other side. Let's go find that switch. Okay, so we've got a free ball again. We're on ball 2. I've got it rigged up with a screwdriver where the balls won't fall down onto the switches. You got to do what you got to do, people. Let's score some points. The whole thing is the ball index relay is pulled in right now. So I'm watching it. 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, 10 points. Okay, so the ball index relay is still pulled in. So I'm going to hit the out hole and see if that relay goes back. Okay, after about the third one it did. Okay, so we permanently have a free ball. And we were saying that for the extra ball relay, which is in the bottom, to turn off, it has to disconnect power through that is connected through the 10, the 100, and the 1,000. But suppose that this line was wrong and these relays are not here, and this wire always has power. Well, anytime the extra ball relay pulled in, the switch on itself would just keep it pulled in all the time. So this wire coming from the 10-point relay, see how they're daisy chained together? 1,000-point relay to the 100-point relay to the 10-point relay. If any of those switches opens, it kills the power. Okay, so the one finally coming off the 10-point relay, going down to the extra ball relay, where this would get its power is a gray and yellow line with a 4. Right? Okay. Ball number 3, that light doesn't work. Ball count unit, ball number 3, it's a damn gray and yellow line. It's happening again, people. So when I look in the back box this time, there's 3 wires that are gray with a yellow line. Because the credit light comes from the replay unit in the back box. So the replay unit, when it gets to 0, it opens up a switch with a gray and yellow wire on it to kill the credit light. The credit light's always on this one because it's on free play, but, you know. So I have 3 wires now, so I have to trace out all 3 of them and see if they're connected to the right place. But apparently, if I was going to guess, I must have this backwards or something, where this wire, instead of going to the credit light, is going to the extra ball one or something. I don't know. We got it screwed up. So I'm going to trace those 3 and see if I can figure out which one's wrong. And the way I'm doing that is I'm going up in the back box and I'm finding the 3 wires on the 3 Jones plugs. Each Jones plug has a gray and yellow wire on this particular instance. And then I'm going to this switch on the replay unit in the back box and measuring from here to the 3 pins on the 3 Jones plugs until I figure out which one, like the female socket, until I figure out which one it is, and then I know which male pin it is, and then I can measure from there to the credit light to see if it's wrong, right? It only takes about 10 minutes each wire. It's no big deal. I'll be done in half an hour figuring out if these 3 are right. Don't worry about it. Okay, so the wire going from the credit switch on the replay unit, so basically if it's closed because you have a credit, it lights up the credit light on the playfield. That one was wired correctly. So you know, the one that's least important, it was wired correctly. The one that was to turn on the ball number 3 light whenever you get the ball number 3 was going up and it was instead going to the 10-point relay. And the one that was supposed to, was going to the extra ball relay. So the light bulb was holding on the extra ball relay. So if I took the light bulb out, it might have worked, or something like that. I don't know. And the 10-point relay, the wire that from there that opens whenever the relay turns on, was connecting down to whatever turns on the light to ball number 3. So I got those reversed. So I'm going to turn it back on. We're going to see if the extra ball thing will now work, and we're going to see if the 3rd ball light works. Ball and play 2, we're in game over though. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to get a extra ball. Let's get some points just so it thinks something's going on. Well, that ain't good. special when 5 balls are all on lit side. You know, I didn't never do it that way. Maybe it won't do it that way. We may have found something else broke. Let's try it on the next ball. On the next ball, it will switch over to the left side. All right, so let's try it back that way. Ball number 2. Okay, so it did work that time. So it works the left way, but it doesn't work the right way. All right, so we want to score some points and then lose the ball. Same player shoots again, but remember, it doesn't turn off till you score some points. But I didn't get it. Thought for sure that would have it. We're in the same situation. It went off that time. Misadjusted switch on one of the relays. That's what's going on. So it did go off whenever we got 100, I guess. Damn, now we got to do it again. But it won't work that way. All right. We're on ball 3 now, and the ball 3 light is still not on. Let me see if that's just the bulb, though. The bulb may be burnt out. The bulb was burnt out, probably because we put too much power to it. But that is definitely the one that I swapped the wire on, so it was definitely wrong. Okay, folks, so I got the it'll now give me an extra ball going either way. I just cleaned the switches again on the playfield so that make sure that it was seeing all of them properly. And so now if you need the 5 balls on the right, it'll give you an extra ball. The 5 on the left, it'll give you an extra ball. But here's the deal. This is the switch that needs to open to kill the extra ball. Now, once you get the extra ball, what happens is it turns on the ball index relay. The ball index relay provides power whenever you lose the ball so that you get an extra ball, right? It carries it over. Once the ball goes through the out hole, it kills the ball index relay, and now the 10 point, the 100 point, and the 1,000 point relay, which you're looking at here, are holding the extra ball on. And so this right switch in the front with the big loop coming up over the top, that switch is normally closed, but if this were to pull in, that would open that up. So when we tried it earlier, basically that switch is too tight. Yeah, you had to pull it way in to get that to open, so sometimes it wouldn't open. So that's what was going on there. This 100 point one, if you look, see the jumper they have coming over on the schematics? It runs through, and it's so that if either that one, or that one open, it opens this line and kills the power that's holding on the extra ball relay, right? So as soon as you score from that new ball, that light goes off. But if you look, they have modified this switch, somebody, and they have taken the jumper off the switch down here and soldered it to the switch up here. So this switch doesn't do anything on the 100 point relay. I don't know why somebody would do that, but they did. Okay, and then it jumpers over again to the 1,000 point relay, which kills the extra ball, but I never scored 1,000 points whenever we were screwing around with it, so it didn't happen yet. Okay, folks, so I think I've fixed the thing where the extra ball stays on. So the reason that the extra ball stays on is the way you get the extra ball is like we were saying with the captive balls and all that. This line here is, you can also get an extra ball if you get a high enough score, right? But the extra, once it turns on, it holds itself on through a switch on itself. And the only way to open that is through one of the point relays, or it can hold itself on through the ball index relay. So the reason I couldn't turn it off with these point relays is because the ball index relay was constantly held on. So here is the ball index relay. This has taken me like a couple hours to even figure out what in the world's going on here. Like, I got the manual and everything out. So basically the ball index relay is what makes the step up unit work on the ball count unit. So it's what makes it go to the next ball. Right? So the way that is energized, so our problem is it's always energized, so the freaking extra ball relay stays on, right? So we need that to pop off. So what energizes it? So if you come down here, it's it's the wrong one. Where am I? It's easy to get lost on these. Ugh. So it is energized if the extra ball relay is not pulled in. So see that little line through it? That means that it's normally closed. So the power can get to it if you haven't won an extra ball yet. And the way that happens is the 10-point relay, 100-point relay, or 1,000-point relay. All right? So if you're just playing a regular game, when you shoot the ball, the first ball for instance, and you hit 10 points, that closes. This is closed because you haven't won an extra ball yet, and it turns on the ball index relay. When the ball index relay turns on, it holds itself on through a switch on itself until you land in the out hole. So the out hole relay has a normally closed switch on it. When the ball lands in the out hole, it eventually turns on the out hole relay, which pulls this in, which kills power to this switch, which turns off the ball index relay. Right? Well, that ain't happening. And another way it can do it is if the ball is sitting on the out hole relay, when the motor turns around, it gets to a certain spot where it opens the power here too. So it's just, we're way deep in the weeds. I know probably a bunch of people are lost on it, but it is what it is. So all of this is working. All of this is fine. I can't figure out what in the world's going on. None of these are stuck on. This switch opens like it's supposed to when you have the extra ball. So the only thing I can figure is on this tilt relay, the tilt relay can also energize the ball index relay. And the reason it's like that is so that if you shoot, or the ball bounces out into the shooter lane and then you tilt the game before you score 10 points or whatever, it turns this on. Now if this is on at the end of the ball, it's going to make the ball count step up unit go up. So you're going to go up to the next ball, right? But also, since this is on, it won't let if you have won a free ball, the extra ball, it won't let it turn off. Right? Wherever we were, right here. So all I can tell is this tilt relay had dirt all over it and a solder splash on it. So I believe that was conducting, but not enough to just turn it on. Just enough to hold it on. Have you ever seen that? I've seen that on flippers before. Sometimes if you get fine dust or anything conductive on a switch, or two switches laying next to each other, right? It's not enough to electrically connect them, but it holds them connected. I don't know. But I think I've got it. So I cleaned all that up. I cleaned all of those switches we talked about, and I think I've got it. So now we got to go test it again, all right? So let's go over and test it. Okay, folks, we're going to try it. Let's attempt it. Everything reset. We're on ball number 1. All right. So let's get so we'll get it to score some points. Well, let's get our free game by knocking them all over to the right. Our free ball. Free ball. Okay, now we lose the ball. Same player shoots again. It kicks the ball out, and let's see if it'll reset. There it is. Alright, let's try it again, just to tempt fate. Okay, try to get a free ball on the left. Same player shoots again. Get some points. We're on ball 2. That left pop bumper is not scoring either. I noticed that earlier. Alright, that seems to have done it, but we still have issues. There are still lots of things to do on this machine. This is like one of the longest ones we've done. This is crazy. Our ball 3 light is working. We're getting there though. So leave your comments below. So far, what do you think? Give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. Game ended. That's good. We're getting there. Whew! Man, it's fighting us. Well, it's not really fighting us. It's cooperating actually. Once we figure it out, it's doing the right thing. It wants to be played too. It doesn't like that it's been sitting for so long. But I think we about got it. But we still got. I'm going to leave the permanently have a free ball with a question mark, right? Because I think we fixed that, but I'm not so sure. Oh, no, it's because the ball index relay was always on. So I'm not sure if we've, I mean, we fixed it, but I want to keep my eye on it. Left pop bumper. One time when we played the 4-player, it seemed like it skipped the first player on ball number 2. I've still got to do the chime unit. I want to see about the advance and the extra advance one lid. I want to look that up on the schematics to see how that works. So it's going to take some more time. So if you like these kind of videos, you'll like it because I'll have to do another one. Ugh. I like it whenever they're quick to knock out. It just takes like, 30, 40 minutes and you figure through all the gremlins. But not on this one. So let us know what you think, and we'd like to thank everybody that's been using our Amazon links. If you don't know about that, down below there is a link to Amazon for different countries even. And if you're going to buy anything on Amazon, if you bookmark that link or go through it to go check out Amazon, it will give us a little tip for anything you choose to buy while you're on there. So thank you to everybody that's been doing that. It's been awesome. And also check out my brother Donnie. That's our brother channel. It's literally my brother Donnie. He's pretty wild and crazy. Lately we've been working on a little grocery store that we bought, a little tiny one, very inexpensive, so don't get excited. This little tiny grocery store that we bought from the 60s, and we've been in there, it's all empty now by the way. We've been in there fixing it up and trying to get it ready to rent and kind of renovating it. So if you're interested in things like that, go check it out. I'm usually over there with them on a lot of the videos, and a fun time is had by all. So we're getting there on this Jubilee. But it keeps wanting me to work on it. So I guess we're going to give it a little bit more love on the next video. We'll see you then. Hope you enjoyed it.